Hey everyone, welcome in. I'm Captivate, and today I'm jumping back on Black Yellow Luffy. This was the deck that I mained in OP08 and had a pretty good amount of success with. I ended up getting second in a store regional, which is how I earned my invite to nationals, as well as winning a 3v3 3K tournament. So shout out to Big Boy Gaming for hosting that. That event was awesome. But yeah, we're going to be looking at this deck in OP09. I think the main standout change that you may have noticed or have probably seen from Asia is the inclusion of the 3 Rago. The main reason we're including that card in the deck now is for all of the 10 cost characters that get added in OP10, namely the 10 cost Shanks, 10 cost Teach, as well as some of the other like 10 cost Doflamingo and Bonnie is still works pretty well with Rago. The reason this works so well in the deck is it costs 6 Dawn, so on 10, that leaves us with 2 Dawn for leader effect as well as 2 Dawn to play out a baby. So we can go to 7k base on our leader while leaving 1 life and then also KOing one of their 10 cost characters. Other than that, I also have the inclusion of Shirahoshi. She's mainly just to hit some of those 5, 6, 7, 8 cost characters to KO them with the Rocket Luffy, something like the Dragon and Rayleigh that you see in Shanks, as well as some of Purple Luffy's characters, because most of those are 5 cost and higher. This is pretty much the deck. I hope you all enjoy the gameplay, and once again, thank you all for your support. If you like this video, please give a like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot and shows me that you all want to continue to see content like this on the channel. So again, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the games. Against Purple Luffy, we want to go first. We want to take first from them. This hand, so we can take our life. I don't really want to take my life against them. They're going to be aggro enough as it is. We have the Kuzan, which helps out a bit in this matchup. We don't have a Sabo or any 5 cost to play on 5 or a Searcher. We do have the Moria though. I think I'm going to keep this just because we have the Kuzan. And I could play the Makino here, but I think I'm fine to not. Yeah, I'm not going to play the Makino. Generally what I like to do in this matchup is for the first turn or two, just put all my Dawn on my leader and swing, because then it's going to detract them from using their leader effect as much. Because if they like use it once, they'll go to 3 or 2 life in the middle of the game, so it just slows them down a little bit. Granted, they are going second, so it won't hurt as much because they only need to do it once to get to 7. Because if they go first, then they'll go 3 to 4 and then 6 to 7 to play the Luffy Taro. So here, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and swing 8, and then they'll take their life next turn and go into 3 life. And then on my 5 Dawn turn, I'll probably establish the Kuzan just to get him on the board. That way when they do play their 5 or 7 cost character, I can threaten it with a Rocket Luffy. So we'll swing 6, and then I'm sure he has a 2k. So he actually didn't take his life there. Most of the time I feel like they take their life to go to 5 and then play the Sangoro or the Kid, or any of the 5 costs that are better than the Zoro. Yep, so there's the Luffy. I am kind of surprised he's not attacking me, but I do know he wants to build board. But it's generally the threat of him getting me low and then having more swings than I have life that makes this matchup kind of difficult. So starving Luffy I don't think is the correct thing to do as Purple Luffy. But if he can go like Sangoro or Luffy Taro into Sangoro, yeah, Sanji, oh, and then he can just kill the Kuzan. So that's unfortunate for us. At least we drew a card off of him. He replaced himself, so really didn't lose any resources. I don't have any reason to counter out of this, because if I give him 1k, it's just going to be 2k and then swing into that. So it's like 1 card, 2 cards, and then I would have to get rid of 2. So that's 4 cards to keep him alive, and he's never going to give 4 cards of value. Going into 7, I think I want to play the Sabo. Yeah, I'm fine to start taking some life here. Okay, we have a lot of Morias. So he did enable our Luffy Taro by hitting us to 2, so, or not Luffy, our Rocket Luffy, I'm thinking of Purple Luffy. So I definitely want to, definitely going to KO that, and I'm going to swing 7 into his life, play the Rocket Luffy, KO the Zoro, and we'll go from there. If I had a Hiyori, I think it would have been, it definitely would have been an option for us to like Makino and then Hiyori the last life into a Luffy, but we only have the one baby right now. So I'm not too concerned being at 2 life right now, because he could play a rush character, but if he does play a rush character, it's going to be like 6, 7, 7, so it's just a 2k, 1k to not die this turn. I do think that we're going to have, yeah, we're definitely going to have to awaken on our next turn, and unfortunately we only have the one Luffy to do so. Okay, there's the Sabo now, so that's good. So what we can do is we can Makino 1, Hiyori the Sabo into our last life, which is 2, and then play the Sabo, and then we can leader effect, hopefully get another 5 cost, and then play the Luffy and then KO the Zoro. Yeah, so Makino. And unfortunately we don't have a 5 cost. Would have been nice to get a 5 cost in life. So now we do have to go through with Hiyori into the Sabo, which is going to be Tudon, and then leader effect, which is 2. And then, yeah, I think we want to go to 9, just so he really can't pressure us too much. And then that way we'll have a blocker. You really have to leave a life or 2 blockers because they have the Usohachi that you have to play around. So, and then hopefully, of course, we don't draw into another 5 cost. We'll get rid of Kuzan, and then I don't think we're going to need Raigo. Yeah. So we can only heal into 1 5 cost. I think I have to risk the search here, just so we can get another 5 cost in life, because we can't go to 9, which is really unfortunate. If we had 1 more 5 cost, because we have both of the babies, we could go to 9 with 1 life, but you have to play with what you have sometimes. So if we did, we could heal the Luffy once, transform into the Luffy, KO the Zoro, be 9k, and then if they have like an Usohachi, they just swing into us and kill us. So please give us, okay, so yeah, we'll take the Luffy, and then leader effect into both Luffys. So we are gonna have to drop a couple cards here, I think. We don't have a Luffy in trash, so that's one thing to think about, that we want to get 1 Luffy in trash for next turn, unless he takes both of these life. I don't want him to take both, because then we're not going to have any 5 costs left, so ideally we only lose 1, and then we can keep 1, so that way we can continue to do our loop of 9k with 1 life. If we can survive next turn, we'll be in a really good position, because we have 3 Morias, and then we can just continue to do the 9k 1 life loop. But he's going to put a lot of pressure on here, and we have the blocker that he's probably going to rest, if I had to guess, and then just pressure life. Thankfully, we do have some 2Ks. But yeah, he could go 7, 7, 9, 9. Yeah, so you could go like 7, 7, 9, 10. I think that's the best thing for him to do. And then any of the 7, the first 7 he does, we'll just get rid of the 1k. The one thing that we don't want to happen is we don't want to counter out too much, so that we leave both of these. If we leave both of these, that's bad too, because then we won't have any way to go back to 0. Because if this was like the Punch Luffy that can take your life, you can play the Luffy and the Sabo from trash, evolve into Punch Luffy, punch the last life out, and then heal if we got the Sabo back in trash. But even if we don't block with it, we can just play Moria and then double baby and play over that to get it in trash. Okay. So he only has 8. Alright, yeah, I figured he was going to rest that. It's honestly less problematic because now we know exactly what he's going to do. He can swing 3 7s at us, and he's probably going to want to kill the Sabo just because it's rested. Yeah, so now he's probably going to go 779. And ideally we'll just get out of both 7s and then take the 9. Yep, do the Luffy. I'm gonna get rid of the Nami here, just because I'll keep both the 2Ks. Yep, and then I'm gonna take this one. And I could counter out, but I don't have 2 Luffys. If I had 2 Luffys in trash, I think it's totally fine to just double Luffy, be 9K, and then heal 2 life. That's pretty strong too. Just making sure there's nothing he can do. He already used the leader effect, so he can't do anything there. So that's exactly what we wanted. Now we can Moria into Luffy and Sabo. This Luffy will KO the Zoro, and then we get to draw one, and then now we're sitting pretty nicely. Unfortunately, we do only have the 1 blocker, but we have the extra life to sit on as well. Yeah, I'm gonna heal both of those. And then we just put all the big ones in the trash, and we swing 11 at life. There's no reason to swing into his board, because he's going to have to don them up anyways to swing into us. And then, I'm assuming he has, he has a lot of counter in hand, I would assume, especially if he has the giant, so I don't think we'll get him to 0, but this way we just put more pressure on for next turn, when we have the Moria to swing as well. And then, because we have the another Moria that we can play next turn, we'll be able to go 9, and then 11, and then have another Moria, but we do only have the 1 Sabo. So we do have to kind of play around that. I think we should still be fine. Even if he plays the Usohachi to rest the Sabo, he could just do like 2 big attacks with these 2. Yep, so there's 1 Usohachi. I'm guessing he has more. Alright, just making sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I'm not too concerned now. We're 9K, so he has to give like 2, 4, 5 Dawn just to swing these 3 into us. One thing we can do if we get kind of scared next turn, or just like another play line, is you could play the Moria to play out the Nami, and then a Sabo. If this life wasn't here, and then we just heal into the Sabo, so then we could go 7K with 2 blockers, the Sabo and the Nami. The Nami draws us a card, and then we get to keep 1 more life. But I'm sure he's just figuring out the best way to divvy up his Dawn. So he's at 7. In theory, he could go up to 8. And then he could go, let's see, that's 9, 9 with a Sanji, 10, 10, 11. Yeah, so he could go 11, 11. So, but then he has to use 3 to play the Usohachi. So 9, yeah, I'm not too scared. And then I'll just... So if I 2K out of this, he could Usohachi and then swing another 9. Yeah, I'm just gonna 2K here. I don't see any reason to block that. We do only have 1 Sabo. Yeah, he just plays the Sanji. All right, just blockers up. That's fine. We want to replay the Sabo off of the Moria. So I'm going to swing with the Sabo first so that we can play over it to play it out. And we'll go Luffy Sabo. If he doesn't block with the Robin, we'll KO the Robin. But I'm guessing he's going to take the block with the Sabo. But it puts him in an awkward spot where he either uses the Robin on a little attack or we just KO it with the Luffy. I think generally when you see Luffy swing with these kind of attacks before they play their Moria and everything, you kind of just have to take the block with the little character. But... Alright, so we're going to play Moria into the Sabo and the Luffy. The Luffy will play that to KO Robin. Sabo will play the Sabo. Yeah. And then we'll swing with both after the Robin is dead. Blow up the Robin. And here we can trash the Garp. I think we can find a trash the Garp because we still have a Moria. And then the Sabo needs to go on top, so Luffy Sabo. Just trash the big characters. And then we go 9, and then we go 11. And again, I don't have any reason to swing into his board here. Alright, so we'll probably take him to 0. Yep. And then same thing, we have 2, 4, 5, 6,000 in counter, and then 1 blocker and 1 life. Getting the like double blocker or blocker and extra life is really important in this matchup because of Usohachi. It's a really good card, and it's a 2K. So just playing around that as best as you can. But I think we're pretty good here. I don't think we'll have any reason to play the Moria next turn. We can just swing all out with everything we have. Unless of course he plays like 3 blockers, like 2 Robins and a Sanji, then we just Moria again, KO one of them, go back to 9k. But I think at this point we've pretty much gotten it. Once you get into the loop of having 1 life, 9k base, with a couple Morias, that's pretty much like a good game for most decks. It's just getting to that point that's the difficult part with this deck. Yeah, so he's gonna go 9, 9, 9, 9. Yeah, just 4 9s. So we have the counter to get out of that. Just use the Nami. And then we can just go 2k, 2k, 1k, keep all of our bodies. But I mean, if he doesn't have a way to stay alive next turn, I think it's best to just go for it here and just see. I mean, yep, rest that. Okay, so he'd probably go big with both, go like 9, 10. Yeah, which we had plenty of counter for, so good game to him. I'm gonna go second here, and the idea here is just to like turbo him down if possible. I'm gonna mulligan this. I don't have any way to take my life early, and this is even worse. Yeah, so what you really have to do is try and take your life and like Hiyori into a big person early and just go like super fast and hope to kill him before he can chain 10 drops. While I can on play, I think I want to play the Garp here. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's bad. All right. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. I'm glad I just sent all of my 2Ks to the bottom of my deck. So on 4, I'll just go 7 and play out a Luffy. I'll take it whenever he swings at me. Not sure why he's swinging at me, but I'll take it. This is annoying now because if I don't swing into this and he can pretty easily. So yeah, I'm just going to go into the dock queue. I think I have to swing into the dock queue, otherwise he's just going to get rid of my babies. And I don't have any way to take my life, so I'm kind of just stuck. And then he's going to turn off my on plays eventually. So this is probably the worst start that you could have as Luffy. The Rygos have become a staple in OP09 for both 10 cost Teach and then 10 cost Shanks. Really, I think if there was any way for Luffy to deal with Burgess, this matchup would be a lot easier, but it's the fact that he can play these out, and Luffy has no way to interact with him unless you're tech in like 9 cost Kaido, which I've thought about. I haven't tested it really, but just the fact that he can slam those on the board, and then Teach will leave you at 1 life and remove your on plays. While I have on plays, I think I want to play the Sabo down and then get rid of one of the Rygos, and then I can play the Luffy next turn. I'm just going to do that to try and cycle a little bit. I want to keep 1 Rygo, and then I'm going to get rid of this Luffy because I need both of these to take my life once he turns my on play. I almost whiffed that one too, jeez. Man, these are not going well. I think I've actually passed like every 2K though. We'll go 5 here. And then we'll pass. But yeah, I can just go 5 for one of the Luffys. I don't have any way to go to 0 next turn if he doesn't use leader ability, don't think I have anything in... I mean, I could play a Moria. Maybe just hard play a Moria if he turns my my on plays off. But yeah, so he did turn my on plays off. Man, both of these Burgesses are so bad in this matchup. And I don't have any way to trash them. Because if these didn't exist, or if they were able to be KO'd, this matchup really wouldn't be too bad. I think what I can try to... I definitely want to play out a 5 cost, and I'm just going to play out the Luffy. But the issue here is if I play out the Luffy, and then I use his ability, they're going to have like 3 or potentially 4 swings at my life, and I'm only going to have 2 life. And if they have like a Liberation in hand, they can just turn the blocker status off of Sabo. So I think I have to just play him. And then I'm going to swing 5. And I'm going to swing 5 with the Garp. Just to try and get any cards I can. And if this is a trigger. I'm guessing it's a Liberation or whatever, because he would have triggered out the like Searcher event. I guess it runs Tempest Kick. Maybe he was thinking about KOing one of them with Tempest Kick. I think I have to swing here. He's gonna swing into it and kill it, but I think I have to just like try and pressure him down. I honestly think next turn, if he does just swing and KO all of these, it wouldn't be terrible to just go like 5, 5, 5, 5, you know. But not seeing any 2Ks really hurts a lot in this matchup. I think what I'm not anticipating him to swing into me, so he's gonna leave me at 3. So I don't think there's any way for me to go down to 0 next turn. But what I could do is play another Luffy out, because I'm sure he's gonna kill one of these two, if not both. I'm guessing he's gonna kill both. So I could play a Luffy down. That gives me 2 Luffys on board, and then he could play a Teach on his next turn. In theory, what I could do is I could Raigo the Teach to take me to 1, and then take that 1 life with the Luffy that doesn't get nullified, because Teach will nullify one of them. And then if I do that, then I could just hope that I have the Luffys on board, so then I could leader effect into this Luffy. That's all just a possibility, but then I leave myself with 1 life as a 7k leader with both of these Burgesses on board. And I don't think I would have a blocker. Not sure what he's thinking about for so long. Okay. Yeah, I don't even have a 2k to think about getting out of that with. 7, I'm guessing he's going to KO. He's going to KO something, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's the finger pistol for the Luffy. What I think my best play next turn is okay, so he does swing there. Oh, and then he's gonna do leader effect and turn off my own plays. So I'm gonna have to play the Luffy and take my life. Yeah, so I'll have to play this Luffy out. Take that. We're gonna leader effect. What are we gonna leader effect into? Man, they're both 9Ks, man. Those cards are brutal. Yeah, so we don't have any on play, so Sabo isn't going to get it on play, but I think I need to just play a blocker out. So I'm going to go Sabo, Luffy, and then Willed Luffy, and then Sabo. And then I'm just going to swing into a Burgess because I have to do something about Burgess. Yep, okay, so that's good for us. We only have the 1 blocker, unfortunately. We are 9K. So he can't really pressure us with these 2 swings. He could like go 11-11, I think. Yeah. And if he did that, that's just 2 cards out of our hands now that we actually have some 2Ks. So this is exactly what the Raigo is good for. Because, I mean, he can swing 1/9 into us. And then he really is getting pretty low in hand size. Because we were able to go pretty wide. And he didn't really see too much reduction. I am going to have to get out of this one. I think I'm going to just use one of my 2Ks here because I think I'm going to want to keep the Nami as a blocker. I think I'm going to want to play her. I'm not expecting to ever get to play Moria, but I will keep the Nami. Yeah, so we do have the Luffy, and thankfully this Luffy is an activate main, so we can use him to KO something, but it's unfortunate because it's only the Lafitte that we could KO because the Burgess is not KOable, but we definitely do use the Raigo here. So this is why we run him in the deck, just get that Teach off the board. And then now I'm gonna leader effect away the Luffy. And then I think what I wanna do here, yeah, I'm gonna put the Sabo and then the Luffy, and I'm only gonna do this Luffy because I want a little bit of card draw. And the Burgess is 10, so I don't think... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna rely on the fact that we have the 1 blocker and the 1 life. Actually, I think no, if I swing with Sabo here, so I have 2, 4, 5, 6 encounter. He's a 10k. No, I definitely don't think I can swing with the Sabo. Because I think I can kill him next turn if he doesn't kill us this turn. My only concern is if he has a liberation, he can turn the blocker status of Sabo off. And then I have 2, 4, 5, 6 encounter, and then 7 and 6. That gets me to 13. And then he could go, he's a 10, so if he goes 13 and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we actually can't, he doesn't have lethal this turn. And yeah, so I'm guessing he's gonna play a Teach, or at least that's probably what he's looking. Yeah, so he does play a Teach. We don't have the Raigo, unfortunately, but that does mean he isn't able to pressure us too much. I'm not gonna block with the Sabo here, and I think I'm just gonna take the life if he swings with the Burgess. I mean, I could, because if I give 2 2Ks, then I could get 1 card drawn by using the Luffy effect, but I think I'm fine with keeping the 2Ks in my hand. And then what we could do is we could just heal to 2 if I feel like we need to. Oh, okay. Yeah, in this case, I definitely counter out of this. And I'm just going to give these 2 here. 2K, 1K. The reason I need to keep this is I want to get this life out so that I can at least heal. And he did use leader effect on me. Oh my gosh. We don't have any way to cycle. So we can heal 2. So I think I could swing 15 into this and then have 2. I can play the Nami for 3. The 3 Marias are not great. Okay, so I could swing 15 here. He could go 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Well, I know he has a stronger, right? I think he got a stronger. Yeah, so that's 1 2K that I know he has. I could go 5, 8, 6, leader. If I leader effect and then swing with the sun, no, I think I need to play the Nami out. Yeah, I think I play the Nami out and then I could go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8. I think I do that. Yeah. Yeah, and then we'll go. I definitely should have waited on the Nami for the last card here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we'll go 7, 8. I'm sure he can get out of one of these 7s. Yeah, and then we'll just heal 2, and then we have 2 blockers. So I don't even need to swing the 8, because I know he's just going to block it. And then obviously do that. These 2 cards don't really matter too much. We might actually get there. I think, so he could play a Teach, and if he plays a Teach, I think he just loses. He could play 2 Finger Pistols, and then... yeah, so if he played Finger Pistol and Liberation, that's 8 Dawn, and then he could swing 7. Yeah, so if he could get both of those, I think that's how he wins. Because if it, yeah, but he's already used 1. Yeah, so I think he's lost. Wow, I don't know. I don't know how we won this with how bad our starting hand was, but yeah, this matchup is very not fun to play as Luffy. I think generally anytime you play against Teach, regardless of the deck you're playing, just go as wide as possible, and generally just try to like think of ways that you can get cards out of his hand. Like doing things like this, swinging with your 1 cost. Every deck kind of has to do that against Teach. Against Dofy, you definitely want to go second as Luffy. What we're generally looking for here is the Rocket Luffy. Rocket Luffy's like probably the best card in this matchup, and then babies so that we can play them out, so we can play around pudding. Yeah, so we'll play the Luffy out. The 2Ks aren't great, but I mean, they do let us like throw the Luffy in life if I feel like we need to do that. I would have liked having one of the Rocket Luffys, obviously, just to help KO his board. The way that we want to play this is just swing into anything that gets rested and pretty much just play the long game until we can get to playing Moria. If we can hit a point where we can like have 1 life and then blockers and be like 7 or 9k, we pretty much win the game. It's kind of our win condition, and then we lose if we can't get to that point and they rush us down. So pretty simple. I'm definitely gonna swing into the Weevil. I'm gonna search here. Okay, there's the Rocket Luffy, so that's good. And then, yeah, we'll grab that one. I wouldn't be surprised if he puddings us after that with how many cards we have in hand. So I do want to counter out of one of these swings. I think if he swings 7, I'm going to counter out, because 8 is usually the number that Dofy will pudding at. If he saw me grab the Rocket Luffy, it's possible he just slams the pudding down. But I'm going to 2k, 1k, just to keep our hands a little low. Because he has the 4, obviously. And then I'll take this one, and then me taking this one is going to let me go to 2 life so that I can use the Rocket Luffy. Excuse me. I think generally, like, I've played this matchup a lot on both sides, honestly. I played Dofy through all of 08, and then, I played Luffy through all of 08, and I'm playing Dofy in 09 now. We take this one. I think it's better for Dofy to starve Luffy if you're running the Draw Kaido. If he's not running the Draw Kaido, I think you have to have some weird, like, pressure them down while building board. Jozu's really good in this matchup for bouncing 5 costs. Yeah, so I'm gonna swing 6 into 1 and then just KO the like one of them. I'm sure he'll counter out of this, and then I can just play the Luffy. Unfortunately, we do keep our hand size fairly large. Yeah, so we're going into 8. I think we're not gonna, as long as we don't like take both life and then get puddinged at 9 cards, I think as long as we don't do that, we'll do okay. And then he's gonna bounce the Luffy. He doesn't have any way to pudding us now though, and he doesn't have a Teach on board to do leader effect using that 1 Dawn. Because on 7, Jozu's really good as Dofy, because you can Jozu bounce something if you have the Teach, and then use that 1 extra Dawn to do Teach, like, leader effects, play another card out. But yeah, next turn, I think we'd need to awaken next turn. We still don't have a Sabo, which is not good. But what we can do is we can, so let's do, we have the Hiyori, so we could Hiyori, Luffy. Yeah, so we have 2 Luffys, leader effect and Hiyori. So we can Hiyori this life into this Luffy, play down this Luffy, awaken into him, take our last life, double heal Rocket Luffy, yeah, evolve that, KO the Weevil. I like that. Well, there's the baby Sabo, so that's good at least. And then, yeah, we'll double rocket. We have so many rocket Luffys, which is great. And I think at this point, as long as we can see like one Moria, I think we've won the game, essentially. I think that's all we have to do to win the game. Once you go like 1 life, 9k base, there's really not a whole lot. I mean, he could just like jam here, or like putting here and then go like 11. But then I just take this and then I heal. I go back to 7. The Nami's really good in this matchup. I like the Nami a lot. Okay. Once we start the whole like 9k loop, you really don't have to swing into the bodies anymore. You only swing into them in the earlier game so that you don't make the Dofi's hand like 12 cards big. I am going to counter out of this. I'm just deciding what I want to counter out of with. Yeah, I'm good doing the Rocket Luffy here. I might have wanted to play him out, but yeah, and then I will just take this one. Yeah. Okay, so we still don't have a Sabo. Not having a Sabo is rough. I am going to play the Nami, so that's 3. And then a baby Luffy. I think I want to swing into the Josie here, so it's a little harder for him to swing into me. The Nami obviously is meant to go with a Moria. But I can just block with her, and then she'll get put in the trash, so I could bring her back with Moria. And let's KO the Weevil here. Yeah, so I'm cool playing down the Kuzan. It'll at least draw me a card, cycle out 1. Oh, I was gonna play the Nami. Man, I'm losing it. Okay, so we can go 9, 10, 11. Let's go. Yeah, let's go 11 at Josu. I just don't want him to be able to hit me as easily, especially because I'm only 7 this turn, because I need to leave 1 life. I mean, I don't have any blockers, so I could have gone to 9 and it would be basically the same thing as getting perfumed. But again, in this matchup specifically, Luffy can't ever go to 9 unless he knows that he's going to be safe with the counter in his hand. Okay, so he dumps his whole hand, and he doesn't have any 2Ks, so swinging 8 into 7 is great here because he gives me 2 cards. Yeah, or it dies. I mean, anytime you see somebody do that where they just give you 1Ks and you know they don't have, like, obviously he could have bluffed it and had a 2K, but just swing 1 over and you'll get it most of the time. I don't think most people recognize when someone doesn't have 2K counters, so that's definitely something that you can abuse. And now knowing that, like, unless he draws into 1, I have to counter out of this, and he's gonna give me that. Otherwise, I'm sure he's just gonna go 11, and then I kind of die. So we'll go 2K, 1K. I don't have any baby Luffys. Oh, he could go here. That would be pretty bad for me because I haven't seen a single Moria this game. Not seeing Moria. Yeah. Okay, I do have to keep this. Otherwise, this has to be a way to get a baby Luffy. So I'm just gonna go double 2K. Please give me something. Okay, sweet. So we do get the Moria here. This needed to either be a Moria or a Sabo for us to do anything really. So with a Moria, we have 2 Luffy, so I think double Luffy here and then just pop 2 bodies is the best play for us. Yep, and then I'll get rid of the Kuzan. I don't have any reason to need him. And then we're 9K. KO that. Oh, I definitely should have used that Luffy. I'm just cruising through it on the sim. I don't think it'll matter because, like I said, he probably doesn't have any 2Ks. I also have no 2Ks because I really haven't been able to cycle at all with the oh, it should be a gravity blade trigger with Sabo. I haven't seen a single Sabo to cycle. So I could pop another Jinbei here. I'm 9K, so he could only go like 10-10, and I know 10-10 doesn't kill me, or he could go like 9-11, and again, I know 9-11 doesn't kill me, so I don't have any reason to do that when I can just wait 1 turn, swing with it, and then pop. Obviously, I run the risk of if he has Gravity Blade, I just lose both, but I'm fine with that. If he plays Gravity Blade next turn, I think I still pretty much just win. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, he had 2 cards in hand, like, 2 or 3 turns ago. Dofy draws so many cards, especially because he can stay at such a high life. When you finally start to go for life, it feels impossible. And yeah, so now, even though I have the Nami, like, I didn't play the Nami off the Moria, I can play her next turn, and I still get the card draw because I have the Moria on the board. Unless he runs, like, Red Rock, and Red Rock's the Moria. Okay, which he does have the Red Rock. And I was not expecting the Red Rock. But yeah, this is where this is really gonna hurt, because I don't have any of the babies for it, but I would have liked to have a way to get rid of this life. I'm just gonna take it, otherwise I'm gonna risk dumping my entire hand, and there's no way. He can't swing into me, so like if I give a 1k there, he can just go 6. Then I give another 1k, and then he could go 7. So I just let that die, because now I know he can't swing into anything. Okay, so the Shirahoshi is quite good. The Nami, unfortunately, is not going to give me to draw anything, and I only have 1 life. So I think I need to get rid of some of his board here. So these are going to be 7. So I'll go 7, 7, and then KO. Or I could go 6 and then hope to get lucky off the draw. Because I've only seen 1 Moria. What's better here? Do I want to risk it? I think 7-7 has a pretty good chance of going through, but if I don't think I'm going to draw a Moria. I'm going to be mad at myself if I do, though. I don't think he has the counter. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll go 7 again. Actually, let's... Okay, so we get the Sabo now. So we could go 5 and then 3. I think KOing one of them is too important, and I don't think they can get out of a 7. Yeah. And then now we can just play, sure, both of these, and then I don't see any way for him to kill us next turn, or this turn. And then he, like, Gravity Blades both. That would be pretty bad. I just drop these 2. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the block here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so if I have any way to play the Luffy, then that'll be great, because I can just KO one of them. Not seeing the Sabo for so long really hurt, because I mean, I only have 15 cards in deck, and we're on like our 14 Dawn turn, where it's usually like, by this point you have like 10 cards left in deck. I'm actually gonna let him bottom deck this, because I have enough 5 costs, and this will let me use my Sabo if I need to. And even like, if I didn't have another Luffy in trash, I might want to keep it. But yeah, so we can just... we could either hard play the Sabo. I think we need to hard play the Sabo, because I'm going to want to go to 7 anyways, and this will just give us more options to see things. Yeah, so now we can see the Luffy. So I'm going to get rid of a little Sabo and a big Sabo. I'm going to trash... Yeah, and then we'll go like that. And we will KO the Boa. My bad. So we have 2 blockers now. I don't see any way. Yeah, I don't think we need. So if we don't swing into the... If we swing into life, he'll go to 1. And then he has 3. I'm 7k. He could go 7, 7, 7. That doesn't hurt me, because I can just go... Yeah, I think I'll just do that. And then this pressures him into needing to play a blocker next turn, because I don't see any way that he could get out of a like 9-11. I don't think he could get out of a 9-11. And then I still have the Nami, so unless he has like an event to bottom deck both, I think we win next turn. Obviously depending on what he plays this turn, if he has another Boa. Because I don't currently have a way to KO her with a Luffy, but generally you want to hold like a baby Luffy in hand if you know the deck is running a 4-cost blocker, because it'll let you just like throw down the baby, pull him off life, KO the 4-cost, and then you don't actually waste any Dawn that way, because your leader gets buffed as well. But yeah, in OP09, I think Luffy is still really solid. I think his matchup into Teach is really bad. Really hard, and you have to get lucky and they have to get unlucky. It's generally just a bad matchup. I think Luffy does pretty well into Shanks as long as you don't brick and can get through your life pretty quickly. I think if you let him drop multiple 10 costs, it becomes really hard. I do think that Luffy is definitely very slightly favored into Dofi, unless they can hit like a really good pudding, but I think they need to get lucky in some way to beat Luffy. This guy's really thinking about this turn. I don't see any way I can die this turn, because I have the 2 blockers and then the life, so I think we're good. Alright. So maybe he bounces a Law to bounce the Nami. Okay, I guess he just builds... Oh, he's probably going to grab a Boa back and then play the Boa. That's a pretty good play. Yeah. I don't have any other Sabo in trash, because I'd like to play the Sabo out of my hand next turn. I'm just going to give the 2k. So he's going to go 4. Yeah, so he can go 7-7 or 7-8. Yeah. And then he's going to play Boa. How many Luffys do I have left? I think 1, 2, 3, 4. I have no Luffys left. Okay, maybe I get a Moria. I'm trying to think of... I mean, I can don up the Garp. I could block with the Sabo. And then... No, I don't think blocking with the Sabo is correct. I think I want to try and swing with him. Yeah, I think I counter out here. And then whatever he swings with this, I'll just take, and then I can just go for game next turn through the Boa. I don't think I'm going to be able to get past the Boa unless I get kind of lucky and draw into a Moria. Okay, so we get the Luffy, which doesn't help. So 5, 5, 7, 8. No, that's definitely not right. I think we need to do 3. So that's 5, 6, 7, 7, 7. We can go 7, 8, 8. I think that's the best play we can do here. So go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna go 7 with Sabo first. Just in case that's a Gravity Blade, they would just Gravity Blade one of these two and it would be the same. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 8. Yeah, I think that's the best. I feel like he can get out of these, but maybe he doesn't have the counter. Okay. And then now we go 8 with leader. And then we'll go 8 with Garp. Let's see if we can get there. All right, we got there, no counter. But yeah, I mean, this was he didn't get a super crazy putting off, but in terms of the cards we saw, this is like one of the worst games. I mean, we had a pretty good mid game and we got the Luffy's, but not seeing Moria or Sabo hurts a lot. We weren't able to cycle into the cards we needed. We couldn't really block anything, and obviously not being able to recur with Moria, you just run out of your hand size too quickly. But yeah, that's generally the Black Yellow Luffy versus Dofy matchup.